Our new sponsor, Better, is a fast-growing daily fantasy sports app. When you sign up using promo code PLAYBOOK in all caps, you receive a free $10 and a 100% deposit match up to $25. Welcome to the NBA Hangout presented by Playbook Sports. I'm your host, Brandon. With me, as always, is Dave. Dave, how are you?
Great, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. This year, the NBA has been in like it's just been really, really exciting this year. Like every game seems to have some purpose. We have the NBA Cup going on, which gives it a little more so. Ties have turned a little bit, I feel like, with the East and the West. We could talk about that. NBA Cup in full motion. I mean, some guys on the move. Heard some centers might be on the move, but the big news would be if one of these like point guards that we'll get into get moved. So, how was your last couple of weeks with the NBA world?
It's been a little too good.
Suspicious.
I'm waiting for the shoe to drop, right? Being a Raptors fan, this is like far and beyond like what anybody expected coming in. This is best scenario plus. So yeah, it reminds me of how I felt during the 2019 run where I didn't like feel good necessarily. I was just like patiently waiting for when it was all going to fall apart. It was that was like a year or two later, so that worked out really well. Hopefully we get the same thing.
that'll be quite something if you guys can, if they could pull that off like once again. But I mean, it's a trauma of being like a Toronto fan. Like we just went through it. We just literally went through it with the Blue Jays. So it's hard to get too excited when things are going well. With the Raptors, but they are doing well, and they've made some meaningful progress from the year before, and they're at the top of the East, which I think we'll get into. I think we could start there with the East in general. Before my mic just falls, I'm there. My reflexes are still good. The top of the East, we have Detroit, the Raptors, and then third, we have the Miami Heat, which everyone going into this season, this is exactly how they predicted it, right? Detroit, Toronto, and the Heat at the top of the East. So what are your thoughts with the start there, the start to the East and the guys who are at the top?
I think Detroit was a little bit expected, but I think I would have considered them maybe like fourth in a top four, not first overall with the second best record in basketball. Especially because like I still feel like they miss like Malik Beasley, and that like that spacing that he provided for Cade. Like Duncan Robinson's doing an admirable job. Jaden Ivey's back now, which is good. But also as a Raptors fan, I'm learning all about spacing.
That Darko offense.
Yeah, because we don't have any. So, like, Detroit I expected to be there. The Raptors and the Heat, I expected to be playing teams. Like, 100%, 8 and 9 kind of thing. Play-in teams. Mm-hmm. Try to make the playoffs and just see if you can make some noise in, like, the first round. Now, it's like, are they both second-round teams? Are either of them conference finals teams? I don't think so yet. I still have faith in like Cleveland, Detroit, Orlando. I mean, Milwaukee has Giannis. That's the other thing. Like Toronto and Miami do not have a top 10 player.
Yeah, exactly.
On their roster. And when was the last time somebody won the NBA championship without a top 10 player?
It's essential, especially in like this age of like parity, where like if you can get one of these guys, it matters, I think, more than it did maybe in a little bit in the past, where teams are trying to build for like the 3-star build. You can't really do that now. So I think the adjustment is like if you can just grab one of these like top 10, top 15 guys who, if it's a top 15 guy, they just have to really fit into like the team around it, just has to be built really well, or maybe have there's ways to work around it. But if usually you need one of these top 10 guys to really make noise. And you're right, the Raptors, the Heat don't really have that player at this moment, which I don't know if come trade deadline they get antsy. If they're still in this position, they might have to be looking out for one of these guys who may be wavering, want out. Clippers are falling apart. Maybe one of those guys want out. So you could there's certainly ways that you can look to improve your roster. With their potential of those teams, the Knicks should be the Knicks should be one of those top teams that should be like competing for the Eastern Conference. But the way that this team is built, I don't know how much I could really trust them to go super far in the playoffs. Like I wouldn't put Toronto or Miami like past being able to do something against them in the right playoff series. Just because of the way that these two teams defend, they're second and third, I think, in defensive rating per cleaning the glass, which I think is a bit different than NBA.com, which has them, I think, more third and fourth. But cleaning the glass takes out what's it called? Garbage time. They don't count garbage time, which changes the stats just a touch. But basically, those two are really good defensive teams, and the way that the Knicks play offense, I feel like the Heat and the Raptors are able to adapt to their style. Even though the Knicks are looking to move the ball a little more, they have been doing that better this year than opposed to last year. But I think the Heat and the Raptors are equipped to defend that type of team. The Cavs is an interesting one because they do have that two big lineup. So I think they should be, and they could be coasting a little bit more this year. They won nearly 60 games last year, so they put in a lot of work and they didn't make it far in the playoffs. So they could be, trying to manage themselves a little bit better throughout the season this year to make sure in the playoffs they're not as banged up as they were last year. But I wouldn't, with the way this East has shook out so far, I wouldn't really put it past any of these teams making a conference finals run. But whether they can actually do something against an OKC or a Denver in a finals matchup, I don't think so. I think that championship's coming out west. But in terms of what they can do in the East, I could see either of these teams, any of these teams, really making a big impact.
I could see Detroit making some noise against Denver or Oklahoma, just because they're young, athletic, and like strong and tough, right? Like, you need somebody to go out there and chop Jokic. Isaiah Stewart, right? Like he's ready all day. Like he'll go and fight Jokic if you want, which is crazy, right? Like you shouldn't do that. Miami knows you shouldn't piss off Jokic.
Yeah, the Morris brothers.
They know. Yeah. So like I do have. Like I'm a big fan of Jalen Duren, big fan of Cade Cunningham. Oscar Thompson is there. You know me, I like Jaden Ivey, but we're gonna have to see how he comes back. Like it's only a couple games. Yeah. There's still a lot to like in Detroit, and I think they are a team that will make deadline moves regardless. And they'll be like the types of move to shore up a championship team, to put them on their best foot forward. Like, do they go and get a Derek White, right? Like Derek White,
steady player, like
doesn't have to be like a crazy all-star number 4. Yeah,
exactly.
He's not the best player on your team, and when he is, everything is like out of line, right? But when he's like the third or fourth best player on your team, he's great, right? And like we're talking about Toronto and Miami, and like Toronto's an example of this right now, where Scotty Barnes, best player on the Toronto Raptors, but by bringing in Brandon Ingram, he doesn't have to be the best offensive player, and that puts him into a more ideal spot for his skill set. He gets to be Scottie Pippen, right? He doesn't have to be Michael Jordan anymore, which just makes more sense for who he is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so like I think like if you go and get a Derek White and you're a good team, like that's a great acquisition. If you're going to get Derek White and you're a bad team, it's not going to be a good acquisition.
It doesn't do much for you at all. But I think you hit it right there. Like even with the season that Cade is just having on his own, like averaging 28 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds, 82 from the free throw line. His 3-point shooting is always going to be a bit of a question, but he's up to 30% and he shoots them. He's shooting about 6.5 per game. But just what he brings on both sides of the court too, just as a defender, averaging 1.5 steals per game, almost a block a game because he's a big guard. Like these big guards, like Shea, they just seem to really impact winning in a different type of way and kind of fast track these young teams. This is a similar type of thing that's going on. That happened that we saw with OKC. Houston's kind of going through this now. They have Oster's brother there, Amin Thompson, over there as a bigger like point guard-ish type role. So I think this is just like your foundation to like have something great and elite. I really like what K's been doing, but I think the jump from Jalen Duren as well, because I think the question with Duren has been his defense. Although he would get like blocks, his defense as a whole wasn't always super complete and truly an anchor. I think this is one of the first years where it feels like his impact is being like made heavily, and I think that brings all the more. I guess when you say they can go against a team like Denver, you have someone to throw at Jokic. I think Duren now might be a little bit more equipped than he would have been a couple of years ago as he's developed. It's still a super young guy. But his impact on the court now has been undeniable. He's been looking better and better and getting more comfortable with like, even I saw him shoot a couple like mid-range the other day. So he's getting more comfortable with his offensive game. He knows where his spots is. He can bang. His body's filling out even more and more. So I think he's one of the primary reasons why this team has taken another leap in that right direction. But yeah, I think you're right. Like the shooting is going to be interesting. They got Duncan Robinson to clean up a lot of that. Karis LeVert as well, who has played with Duncan in university. They played together.
Oh, before. Weird. Yeah, no way.
So they were teammates once upon a time. But yeah, Karis LeVert, Duncan Robinson, like these are good, decent guys to like open up the court. But a little more shooting would probably do Cade well and do the team some well.
Yeah, you could tell last year with like Beasley being there, what that season elite shooter can do, right? Because sometimes shooters, it's just like this is their year, right? And they go from like nobody to a hero, and they're amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next year they're back down again. Duncan Robinson's a great example.
He has all these fluctuations.
Example. Yeah. But yeah,
and I guess when you say
shooter for the season, does a lot. Yeah.
And a guy like Malik Beasley, he's more versatile than like a Duncan. Like Duncan more as like a catch and shoot guy. He could put it on the ground a little bit, but Beasley that's more in his comfort zone. He could just do a little bit more to keep the defense a little bit more honest. So that's Detroit. And with the Raptors, I guess I want to touch on this. Like I see shifting over to like coach of the year team coach of the year considerations. I think early on, I think those three teams have probably who will be considered for coach of the year. You have JB Bickerstaff, who's taken this Detroit team to another step. This is a similar thing with Cleveland now. He's doing over with Detroit. Hopefully they give him the chance to actually fulfill the team and not get rid of him to try and bring in a so-and-so coach that's good for playoffs, right? I think Spo would be up there this year, and he has never got one before, but I think this is one of the years where he can actually have a chance in getting it because of the way he just revolutionized like their offense. He went from they went from an offense that was stuck in the mud. Cleaning the Glass still only has them as the 13th best offense, but their pace has picked up dramatically from the year prior. They're the team that uses the least amount of picks in the NBA, like by a wide margin. Like they barely do any pick and roll, and they used to rely on that heavy. And yeah, just changing up that offense while keeping their defense. It's second ranked defense, third ranked defense, depending on where you're looking. So defense hasn't slipped at all. A large part of that is due to Bam, of course. Like when he was out, the defense dropped to 17th. When he was in, they're up to second. So that's a lot to do with that guy. And then when you look at the Raptors as well, they stayed patient with Darko. There's been times where they questioned if this is the right guy for the job. They stay patient. Like this is our guy. He's going to develop an offense. It's going to be fruitful for everybody, and it's starting to pan out. Bringing in Ingram helps, but he's still getting to be himself while trying to adapt to this offense. It's a little more, a little bit more movement. So I think having a coach that's able to balance that with your best offensive player isn't always the easiest, and he's gotten Brandon Ingram to really buy in. So I think he deserves a ton of credit for that.
I think one thing that he had going for him was like Ingram's injury last year. Like he sat on the bench and he worked with the coaching staff. And so they could talk like basketball philosophy a lot and have an understanding of like when Ingram's healthy, what is his role going to be? What is the offense going to look like? You know, like he's still the guy where there's 7 seconds or less in the possession and the Raptors have nothing and they just throw it to Ingram and he gets a shot. For good or bad, he gets a shot.
Yeah.
But like in the past, the Raptors just wouldn't get that shot ever since like Kawhi, right? DeMar was there for years, would get the shot.
Mm-hmm.
Kawhi replaced DeMar, could get the shot. Kawhi leaves, Raptors just didn't have that guy for a long time. It's funny because like Darko, after the 1-4 start, there was a lot of talk about like, is Darko going to even make it to the All-Star break, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people were like, you know, he might be the wrong coach. We might have to go and get somebody else, somebody more established. You know, Darko was a young assistant when he was hired, and could he do it? Blah blah blah. And he's turned out really well. My vote is probably with Spoelstra. Like if I was a voter, I would be voting Spoelstra at the moment. I really like the change in offense, really working with the players that he's got, right? You know, here's a coach that had the big three. Now he doesn't have a team anywhere resembling.
No, it's nothing
and
like it at all.
He's got them playing, man, like really playing. And so like, you know, it's not like okay, Oklahoma's probably gonna win like, I don't know, 78 games or something. But is Dagno gonna win Coach of the Year again? I don't think so.
No. These coaches, once they win, they don't get it again. Like that's just like how it goes. For whatever
you get two MVPs and then you're done.
You get 2 MVPs, you get 1 Coach of the Year. That one or two. You might get 2 or 3 depoys depending on your field. But that's about it. They cut you off. I think what Spo has done with the offense has been just great to watch. It's been much easier on the eyes to watch. We don't have to see this slog. Like just the fact of like shots before the shot clock is expiring. Like I barely see them getting shot clock violations anymore. And that was the thing. You'd always see someone chucking up a shot with like 2 seconds left, just trying to beat the clock. You barely see that anymore, which is just nice. Like, he's got Norm. Like Norm took a season from last year with the Clippers, and it just made it himself even better, just freer even in this offense with the full range. Now we still got to see how he mixes it in with Hero. Hero just came back. Hero's looked good coming back. Like he scored 26 the first night, 29 the second night. Offense has slowed down a touch since his return, but I think it's a mix of like Hero just like getting his feet underneath them. Teams have also, you're 20 games in now, so teams are kind of used to what you're doing, so they're going to switch up the way they're guarding you. So it's going to be on Spo again to try to figure out wrinkles to keep that offense still moving at a fast pace and not finding these slow gaps. And yeah, just even the development he's done with some of the young guys with Kyle Weir. To start the season, Kel was one of the worst players on the court by plus or minus like statistics. He was just, every time he was on the court, he was just bleeding points. And then a couple, I'll say about like 2 weeks ago, a switch just flipped. Like he had a text with UD. I don't know what that text, I don't know what the power of UD's texts do. UD also called him out on national television as well. So just I'll shout both Khalil and Spo, but just the way that he's coached him hard. He hasn't been light on him. But the fruits of that labor has started to pay dividends now. And now you're seeing what versatility the Heat could use with Bam and Kel together. Since Bam is not shooting threes, he's open with shooting threes. Kel will shoot his threes, so they could be on the perimeter. I even like how the way Bam attacks from the perimeter against some of his guys. He's been really trying to blow by guys, like slower defenders that they put on him, in a way that he just wasn't before, but with the more open offense. Just a mentality that I'm a wing player now. It does a lot for his game, I think.
Yeah, it's still wild to me. That we're talking about the Heat and the Raptors as the second and third best teams in the East. And honestly, like with these less than enticing on paper rosters, right?
Yeah.
You think about like going into the season and nobody ranked like the Heat or the Raptors well.
No one.
An interesting player here or there, a good coach, some growing pains, but just nobody was like, oh yeah, these teams will put it together.
Yeah.
And that's the common denominator between the two, is that they're putting it together. They might be outplaying their talent level, which is also the worry, because how long can you keep it up? Yeah. Like you've got the title of episode 61 here, the real and the fake. And it's like they're real right now, but are they fake teams?
Yeah. Are they fake? They could 100%. Both of these teams could collapse. One thing the one difference I'll say in both these teams is strength of schedule so far, estimated box plus minus. Heat have had one of the tougher, I'll say, like I think it was around like the 7th toughest schedule.
The Raptors have like the easiest schedule.
The Raptors have like one of the easiest schedules, which is terrifying. But it does show that you're beating the teams that you should beat, and only good teams do that. Decent and average and bad teams, they lose these games. They drop a lot of these games. The teams that they should beat in close fashion, whatever it is, they find a way to lose these games. The Raptors are doing the opposite. They're finding a way to win these games. So yeah, they might have a tougher stretch later on in the year, but at least they'll be competitive in those games. I don't think they're going to drop all of them. They're going to be close with some of these teams. They're one of the best teams in point differential right now in the NBA. So I don't think. I think there could be a drop off coming for the Raptors, but I don't think it's going to be as dramatic as it could be, as it might be like for a team that who's on the top to start this season. Chicago, for example, who was like first in the East for a little bit. I don't think the drop off is going to be as severe as a team like that, but there could be a slight one coming. And teams like the Cavs are going to start to creep up eventually. Like they're going to, as the season balances out, they're going to go on their win streak of like 6 to 9 games or whatever it may be, and then they'll be right in the hunt as well.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun, but I'm not yet sold. I'm not yet sold on either the Heat, the Raptors, or even Detroit staying at the top of the East, right? Like Detroit's good. Like I believe in them the most of the 3 teams. But I don't know if they remain at the top of the East. So they probably don't remain on this pace. At least they've been pretty unreal. Yeah. Like I could see the Knicks or the Cavs like eventually taking over top spot in the East.
Yeah, as they should. Like Cleveland, especially Cleveland. Cleveland to me is a team that absolutely should. I feel the Knicks are kind of properly. I feel like the Knicks are going to be in this like 3 to 5 range the entire time. I just something about them just. I said the same thing last year. They just lack. They just lack something. Oh, it just feels like they're just lacking something. OG's out for a while. So it's tough. It's tough with the Knicks. They are playing more guys. So maybe they won't burn
winning players.
I feel like they. I just feel like.
Is it because
the defense is always going to be tricky when you have Cat and Jalen Brunson at your 1 and at your 5. It's just those are 2 positions where like you can really impact the game like as a defensive unit, and I just feel like those 2 guys and Mitchell Robinson's knees are just like hanging on by a thread. Like I cannot trust what that team could do in the front court. Like it just does not deter teams away. So their wing defense is great. Wing defense is good. Wing defense is great. They brought in I think Jordan Clarkson for to come off the bench and stuff like that. So they've added depth to their team. But I just can't trust that defense when things matter the most to make stops when they really need to.
Well, it's like, it's one thing to have great wing defense, right? You can match up against any superstar wing. Like it used to be all about, can you stop LeBron, right? Can you stop LeBron? Can you slow him down? You need a player like that, right? And the Knicks have plenty of players like that right now.
And they're about to build to stop Boston, right? With the Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, who's your point of attack defender? Is that Brunson? Is that I don't know who that is.
Yeah, because if you're taking Brunson out and
is
then
it
you're
OG?
putting, yeah, then you're lessening the effect that OG can have on a defense if you're having to use him in that. Like, he can do it. OG is one of those guys that can guard like 1 through 5 pretty much. 1 through 4 for real. 5 if you really need him to. But then you're taking away his effectiveness at the wing to big spot there if you take him off a guard. But he can do it. Yeah,
he can do it, but it's still not ideal. And then you've got Cat as your ultimate backstop, and that's never worked on any team. Like, whenever Cat is the most responsible final defender, he's shrunken, right? Like, he's shrunk from that responsibility and that role. He likes playing with Mitchell Robinson because he gets to play the power forward, right? And he doesn't
like
have
playing
those
with Gobert. Same thing with Gobert. It worked well with him with Gobert because Gobert had those responsibilities. Cat can be Cat.
So it makes you really kind of have pause when you think about the ceiling of the Knicks. So I agree with you when you say like 3 to 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 3 to 5. And then one of these teams would just like surpass everybody. I guess keeping on the theme with like early season strong play, we have the NBA Cup going in full tilt. We're in the last week going into it, so everything should be decided, I think, by the end of this week. If who makes the brackets and everything like that. Early on, it's not that early, but as the group stage ends, I guess I should do a little background of like how this works. So yeah, group stage ends. There's 1, 2, 3 groups in the East, 3 groups in the West. One team makes it from each group, and then a wild card and then 3 wild cards as well make it, and then they get placed into a bracket. Who do you feel is your favorite right now to win the NBA Cup?
Favorite to win the NBA Cup? Wow, that's an interesting question. Because like you
don't got the Pacers.
Say, yeah, I don't have the Pacers this year. They're gonna come out of nowhere. It'd be easy to say Oklahoma just because they're just so good. It'd be easy to say Denver for the same reason. I think the cool thing about the Cup is it reflects who's had a good start, right? Who's come out of the gate strong. So am I crazy to think that like a Toronto Raptors could steal the NBA Cup? Like, it's not a full series. Crazy. It's like one game.
It's one game. These are one game off. Yeah. So sorry. Yeah. Once you hit the bracket, the knockout stage, then it's one game. One game knockout for everybody. So yeah, in a one game knockout, why not the Raptors? They're playing so well right now.
LA looks good though.
Yeah.
Like,
they're 3-0 in the Cup games.
You want to bet against Luka?
Luka's having quite the season. I think our next episode we'll talk about MVPs again, because this is it sways every 2 nights. Like, like who's
it's wild.
Luka's having.
Wait till Wemby gets back.
Yeah, exactly, and then he just throws into the fold again. And I like taking the Lakers as a team I was looking at. OKC obviously just feels like the thing about OKC is I feel like they're on this mission this year to just prove that they deserve to be champions. I think Shea had a quote.
Does anybody think they don't deserve to be champions?
I think Shea. I think Shea, like, not that they don't deserve to be champions, but Shea had a quote earlier this year just being like, I didn't like the way that we won that championship. We didn't play our best basketball once. So I think that team mentality, if not outside perspective, but I think that team's mentality is that like we need to solidify ourselves as one of the best teams in the NBA, and I think they're going to stop almost at nothing to do that at every turn, including this NBA Cup. I think this NBA Cup is going to be something that they're going to try and cement themselves as like, look, guys, we are the team to beat. Like, there is no one near us here. So I know it's kind of like the easy route out, but I think for the reasons, I think they're just one of the motivated teams early in the season to kind of instill fear into other teams. I think they really do want to do that. Jalen Williams has just been announced that he's coming back on Saturday. In the next game, so they'll be finally whole. Chet has looked Chet looks healthy. It reminds me of like the first year we were doing this podcast, and we had a lot of Chet versus Wemby discussion that year, and it kept swaying back and forth. Who was going to be Rookie of the Year? Who was in Defensive Player of the Year considerations? And I think we're right back at that with Chet. I think he's the lead runner, front runner for Defensive Player of the Year, rightfully so, leading a historically good defense. Yeah, I think OKC would be mine. And if I had to take a team from the East, I was actually gonna say, yeah, I think the Raptors can make a strong run here. The vibes are immaculate. Everyone is happy. They have the right energy around them. It does feel like one of these Indiana Pacers runs that they could be that they can go on. I think they want to prove that they're one of these teams early on as well. It matters to them. So I could 100% see the Raptors as like a team not only making it far, but pulling off this NBA Cup.
To go back to your Shea quote about, I don't think we played our best basketball, that kind of thing. Had Halliburton not gotten injured,
that's in the back of his mind.
Yeah, do you feel like Shea thought they would lose? Like Indiana would steal that series?
I think it was. I think he felt like it was up in the air for sure. I don't think he felt like it was like
the Toronto in him.
Maybe it's just like this could go bad.
Yeah,
at any moment
for this to go bad.
Yeah.
We won. It can still go bad.
It can still go bad. Yeah, I gotta make sure it doesn't go bad. No, but I think 100%. I don't think they expected themselves to be in a 7-game series with Indiana, Halliburton healthy or not. I think they felt they should have won that in 4 and 5, as many people did. Yeah, I think people felt the Denver series as well. I think a lot of people felt that can go either way. I think they won that one in 7 as well. And I think the feeling of that, like having to come through those series in such a tough manner, it did well for like preparing them for playoff basketball and all that type of stuff. But I think it also just gave them a sense of like, this isn't like guaranteed. Like winning these things aren't just guaranteed. Just because we had a great season, just because we're statistically one of the better teams, we have to go out and beat these teams consistently, like for at least 4 games in a series before they beat us. And I think just going through that gauntlet, I think just really hardened them in that way. And I feel like, yeah, you wouldn't feel like you played your best. Playoff basketball is tough. I don't think many teams win a championship playing their best basketball. But I think the mentality is great to want to come out and try to prove that, no, we have another level that we can get to, and we're 100% gonna show you. And they're definitely showing it on defense. I think their offense is also picked up from last year as well. So
it's just AJ Mitchell's a star now. So
AJ Mitchell just is a star.
Whoever AJ Mitchell is.
They have the Clippers pick in the draft this year, which is terrifying. So it doesn't seem like they're slowing down. It's like they could be a dynasty just upon us already. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I think those would be my picks for these. Anything else in the for the NBA Cup?
I don't feel like the promotion has been as good this year for the NBA Cup. Outside of the painted courts, I rarely know that it's like a cup game. Or if you're watching a cup game, I rarely know that it's a special game.
Right.
So I think the NBA has actually gotten kind of taken a step back on promoting the cup. And I don't think they can slow the narrative. I think they should get back on top of really trying to show that these are special, different games with meaning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you know what? Like, yeah, I can see from that. Yeah, the promotion aspect of it definitely, I think, has taken a step back. I think it's kind of like what we're talking about, like before we started recording, is like starting to feel like it's just part of the season now, in kind of a good way. It just feels like these are just spots in the season that you can look forward to. But I think, yeah, they could do a better job of like putting that out there. I wonder how much of that is us being in Canada and we're not getting like these national broadcasts in the same way, because these are on like Amazon Prime, the NBC broadcast. Like I haven't seen too many of that. I've seen the Amazon one like once or twice, but I feel like we're not getting the same volume that maybe they're getting over there. And I think they're putting a lot of promotion on that end. But these games have felt special in terms of how the games have felt. Like these have been close games. Teams have been battling for these games. Like every game seems to be, and even when it's a blowout, it feels like they're still playing hard at the end of the game just to either extend that point differential or try to minimize it. So
Yeah.
a lot of intensity has come through a lot of these cup games, which has been fun to watch when you do catch one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I still, like, we were talking about it just before coming on as well, when we were talking about the cup a little bit. It's just like I dig the point differential mattering, because the teams play so much harder deeper into the games, right? Like okay, Oklahoma's in a great position, but if their cup seating was a little tighter, you think Shea's sitting every fourth quarter?
No,
No, that
definitely
guy's
not.
playing
Yeah.
it through, right?
Yeah.
You're risking the dreaded calf strain. Um, and you're playing it through because it's important, right? So when a team's like up by a lot and they like throw the bench in, it's great time for the bench to like learn. But unless one of those bench guys is like your guy, and like you're really interested in watching this one bench player, like when the bench comes in, you're let's be
chucked
honest,
out.
you're waiting for the starters to come back, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
so it is. I think you're right. Like I think it's been like really kind of interesting the way that the points differential has added importance later into the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, how many times have you heard the critique like, "Oh, I'd watch basketball, but only the last 2 minutes matter, and it takes an hour to play the last 2 minutes."
Yeah.
It's like, when was the last time it took an hour to play 2 minutes?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
2004. Like it's such an outdated critique.
The only thing
But
now
it's
would
the
be
one that I
like,
still hear a lot.
because people get caught up in like the replays and the challenges and stuff like that. But I think the NBA's done a better job these couple of years of like limiting the type of challenges you can do, and having not as many per game. Like you have like one per half, and if you win it, you get another one type of.
Yep.
So I think that has sped up the process a lot. But like I know, then you get into the foul game. The foul game happens in the last like 30 seconds or whatever. But that's just like, I don't know. That's part of the game, and it's like fun. It could be fun.
And you have to be within 2 possessions to play
Yeah,
the foul game,
to play the foul
right?
game, exactly. And most teams will give
And
up. Like in this season, like they're not playing it that extreme. In the playoffs, they play it way more extreme. I feel like in this season too, when it gets close and it's like 4 points, like they're like, we tried.
if we don't hit this 3, we're
Yeah.
gonna give up.
Yeah, we're done. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun while it lasted, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, exactly. But yeah, the NBA Cup goes on, and I'm intrigued to see what happens in the knockout stage, starting soon. I guess transitioning from that, we talked about OKC. Might as well talk about the rest of the West. Who can beat this team? Who can score on this team? I think is more importantly is who can score and beat this team in a 7-game series in the West.
I like Denver. Obviously, Jokic can he just throws it up and the ball goes in. I like LA, right? Like let's remember LeBron's only been back for 3 games, 4 games maybe.
Yeah, like 3,
right?
3 or 4 games, yeah.
Austin Reeves is playing the best basketball of his life. We've got skinny Luca doing MVP like things. There's a lot of talent on LA. DeAndre Ayton
looks good with them.
Looks like he found a home, right? And they're like, we need you to do just this. And he's like, I can do just that.
Yeah,
right?
and the thing is too is like he can buy into it more easily because he doesn't. It's Luca, it's Luca and LeBron telling you to do this. Yeah,
and the Lakers.
It's not somebody that you feel you're on the same level with. You know, Luca is like one of the best in the league. You know, LeBron's one of the best ever, if not the best ever. So you're gonna. It's a lot easier to buy into those guys.
Yeah, a lot easier. Plus, I mean, you were humbled a little bit because he was humbled, right?
Yeah.
So you were humbled, even though you're first overall pick. You're still imperfect, but you could be perfect for the Lakers.
Yeah.
So, Pretty impressed with the Lakers. Pretty impressed with Denver. I think they can give Oklahoma a run. I also think like both teams are bigger than Oklahoma. Like the thing about Oklahoma is still like they're a strong defensive team. They're made up of a lot of strong, physically strong players. Hartenstein and Chet are enormous, but like Chet's super skinny.
Yeah.
So I think if you're a big, beefy team who can run, you can give Oklahoma, a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, I think that's why Denver was so good against them last year. It's just because you had Aaron Gordon and you have Jokic just at those two front court positions, just to bang, 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 and bang, and it's it can hold a toll on you. And Chet, there's a lot for Chet to handle. His first like real, that he's a small guy, he's skinny, he's tall guy, but he is skinny. So sometimes it's hard to anchor a defense when you're like that. And Hardenstein is great, but sometimes you can't have him out there all the time for offensive reasons. So it's a tricky game you got to play there.
Yeah, and this is all to say, like, what does San Antonio look like when Victor comes back? Is San Antonio going to be this same collection of players come trade deadline? Like, they're a team to me who are most primed to trade for like a star, like a superstar. Like big Dylan Harper fan, but I don't know if he's going to be a Spur long term or if he's going to be the thing that gets them
over the hump.
Giannis or I'd say like one of these point guards. Like the last thing they need is a point guard.
The last thing they could do is get a point guard.
Yeah. So it's
I think the Wemby one is interesting. The Wemby one. San Antonio one is interesting. They might be just a year away from really being able to do that, but I think that is definitely a threat on the rise. Like they're 12-5 as it stands right now. They do have one of the better offenses, but when Wemby is there, that is such a dynamic team. And the way that Castle was playing earlier too, Fox has been great. They didn't really get to play much together, but I imagine when they are able to play together, that's going to be some type of backcourt duo for teams to handle, because Castle could just handle all the stuff on the defensive end and just be just as forced going to the basket. And lets Fox be a little bit more in his comfort zone of being like in the mid-range game. And, he's not the strongest defender, so he doesn't always need to take that matchup all the time when you have someone like Castle next to you. I think San Antonio is one of those teams that, if Wemby is healthy, they could beat almost about anybody, I think, in this series, just because of what he can do on the court. I think they're just like maybe a couple players away, like a year away from like really being able to solidify that. Denver, 100%. Yeah, I'm with you on that. That team, especially Jokic having another MVP type of season, it just does not seem to slow down. It seems to only get better. Averaging, I believe, a triple-double as it stands right now. Just casually. Yeah, so I think Denver, they have the best offense in the NBA right now as it stands. So I think that is the exact clash that you want to see going against OKC. Houston is another team that, do we feel like they're on that level? Like are they ready to be thrown in that position? Did KD put them over the hump?
I think a lot of that depends on what do you think of Reed Shepherd. I would say yes, absolutely, if Fred was still healthy.
Right.
Mostly because VanVleet is like his nickname Steady Freddy, right? But like that's not always his production, it's what he gets out of guys. Like he can when the team's getting manic, he can slow them back down, right? When the team needs some pace to get going, he can speed them up, right? So to me, the loss of VanVleet was like a loss of like a conductor, like an orchestra conductor, less like the lead cello. Reed Shepherd, he can play. Like that kid can score, he can play basketball, but can he run a championship offense? To the point where you're beating an Oklahoma, where you're going toe-to-toe with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and, holding your own. Because like, okay, you won't have to defend Shai. That'll be Amin Thompson. Right? That's just Amin's role. defend the best player. But
it's a fun matchup too.
Yeah, it is. But can Reed outplay AJ Mitchell, Kason Wallace when he's got guys like this, Lou Dort, guys like this in his face all day? Do they put Alex Caruso on him? You know, and then what does that do for the offense? Is there enough other playmakers and like creative outlets? Like, I'm a big Şengün fan, but he's not Jokic. He's not running it from he's not the point center.
Jokic gave that guy all the type of fits the other night. It was wow.
Yeah.
I felt bad. I felt bad for him because like before the game, he had like an interview talking about like I am not like stop calling me baby Jokic. I am Şengün. I am my own guy. I will show you guys I'm my own guy. And then you got terrorized by Jokic that night. That was that was wow. No, yeah. These are all fair questions. I think that's why I have some, trepidation with Houston, is because some of these things I'm not 100% sold on. Like KD, as great as he is as an offensive player, he's always kind of needed a point guard there just to kind of like he had Russell Westbrook when he was there, maybe to default sometimes he had Russell Westbrook, but he's like James Harden, he has Steph, like he's played with great point guards. And I think once he has a good point guard, someone to take some of that playmaking duty, because at the end of the day he's like a 7 foot player. Being able to handle the ball at a point guard level is just it's going to be difficult. He still needs to be more of a wing, play more of a wing role, so which he's like one of the best ever at, so it's no knock to him, but I think it's always tricky when he doesn't have that point guard with him to kind of help the offense in that way. I'm trying to be that guy. Şengün kind of does point guard things from the center position, but I think you're right. Reed Shepard's development and Freddie not being there. With Freddie, this team would be, I think, very dangerous. Without him, you're really relying on like what Reed develops into, which is great for his development, but I don't know how much it's going to be for winning this year.
So Houston's a team that needs a championship point guard, and we've got 3 potential point guards available. One, are any of them championship point guards? And 2,
that is quite the question.
Could Houston get one? Can they fit them, right? So like, one of the advantages that San Antonio has is they have Harrison Barnes' contract, right? You can package him with like
Keldon, Vassell, any of these guys, really.
Yeah, and Harper, and you can get like anybody, right? Yeah. Who are you going to package with, like, if it's got to be Reed Shepard, for example?
Your contract guy was Jalen Green before, and Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, and
those were your contract guys. Yeah,
they're gone. Yeah, because they got you Kevin Durant.
Yeah. So, that's I don't know if Houston will be able to get one of those guys, LaMelo, Trae, or Ja. I don't know if they want those guys either. I think
are they like a Derek White team more?
I think they're like a Derek White team. I think a Derek White would make a lot of sense for them. Like, he can handle playmaking duties. He doesn't have to be like, he's not a point guard by nature, but he does point guard duties completely fine, especially when he has like other offensive players around him that are going to do a lot of the other stuff. He just needs to kind of fill in a row. Derek White would be tremendous on that team. Even when Van Vliet comes back, he would be tremendous on that team. I think that would make 100% sense for them. I think a Ja, Trae, or LaMelo would just drive KD absolutely insane, and it would drive Ime Udoka absolutely insane. I don't think Udoka nor KD would be able to stomach those guys for a full season.
Any of those guys.
Yeah. I think we're coming down to. No, go ahead.
I still want to see LaMelo with Anthony Edwards. Like, that's the backcourt I want.
I just want Ja there. I don't know why.
Ja with Anthony Edwards?
I really want it. It'll be chaos.
You just want 2 guys yelling at everybody.
Oh, yes,
just
please.
The chirps.
Yeah. Bring it. And everyone getting dunked on. Maybe Ja will find his knees again. He'll start dunking again. Like when Carter left the Raptors.
I was about to say, do you think Ja is just Vince Carter? Do you think like the moment he gets traded, he starts averaging like 28 points and the whole game opens back up?
Yeah, he could magically shoot again, start dunking in everybody. I wouldn't be shocked. Like at this point, I think he's. I don't know if he's miserable, like, but it feels that way from like an outsider's perspective. That like, and if not, it feels like Memphis is kind of doing like the Jimmy thing of trying to like, hey, do you really want to be here? You you're acting out again. Da 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 da. Like it feels like they're trying to like ease their way into making sense for them to move him, so it doesn't like the public perception doesn't look as bad as it could. But I guess we could get into it now. I think that's good enough on the West. Like, you know, the teams that kind of disappointed me in the West though has been Minnesota to a certain extent, but we'll talk about them in a second because they're going to need one of these point guards that are available.
Get them LaMelo Ball. At least they're interesting.
Yeah. At least they're interesting then. Who else in the West do we think? I think that's pretty much it. Phoenix has had a surprising start to the season, but I don't think they're going to be as much of a threat to win a championship this year. Golden State is the other team that I wanted to touch on just a bit. How do we feel about them?
I think they're old.
Yes, they are old.
I think they've finally got old, right? Collectively got old. There tends to be a thing in sports where the great player, the great team eventually gets old, and it's like a switch where they go from being like one of the very best to just old, right? And like it's amazing we haven't seen it with like LeBron or Steph Curry individually. You know, like I watch a lot of motorsports. Perhaps statistically the greatest Formula One driver of all time is Lewis Hamilton. He's old now. He's old, and it's gone. Like he could outpedal you, me, and everybody we know combined, but I'm up against the world's best, and unfortunately he's old. And like Golden State kind of like opened the season a little scrappy. They were like, hey, we still got some stuff, right? We got an old man trick or two in the bag, but you know, it's like the moment that your dad stops playing you in basketball, that moment where you're about to beat them, right? And then they're like, oh, no, we're not playing anymore, right?
I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm not having you dunk on my head. You know? And right now, everyone is dunking on the head of the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, Wemby really literally did it today.
And like Steph's hurt now, and I don't know if that team, even with like Jimmy's a great player, Draymond's like perhaps the greatest role player of all time, but they're not the two to like carry the team when Steph's out. Like, I don't know if they've got anybody who can carry that team when Steph's
down,
right?
That's a tricky. Like I think they're in for a rude awakening during this. Like, Moses Moody has had like a pretty decent season coming out of it, but you have Al Horford. Like the pickup of Al Horford is just like, man, that did not.
Let's
help.
Get older.
Yeah, even older. Somehow we're gonna get even older. Like we already have Jimmy and Draymond and Steph, but let's just really get old. I feel with the Warriors, like statistically, Jimmy's still having like a pretty decent season. Like he's having one of his, 25-5, 26-6 steal, not turning over the ball, getting to the line a lot, field goal percentage is slightly dropping a little bit, year by year, scoring around the basket is a little bit trickier year by year for him, but he's still putting up a pretty decent season. But it's just a supporting cast that they have around these guys. It's just not, they need more, and they've leaned on Steph like all these years, and it's kind of masked their poor drafting, poor trades. Like they had made some trades that have just been questionable, and you've just relied on like having the magic of Steph and Draymond just being able to will themselves through so many, even winning them that 2022 championship. It's like I don't know if that roster was so good, but you just had Steph playing on another level, and you had Draymond buying into his role and leading guys, and you had a Poole in his role. Like you just had the perfect mesh of things to go right for you for that year. But even at that point, we're saying this team needs a little bit more around Steph, and now I think it's finally reached a point. Steph himself is, I mean, he's 37.
Yep.
He's still putting up 40-point games, and he's still trying to mask like your flaws in a way that he really, truly shouldn't have to in this stage of his career if he's on a team that says that they're competing. Trading for Jimmy Butler now in retrospect, how do you feel that worked for them? I think for that season, it was excellent. They went on a run. They went on a run. He rejuvenated them. It just injuries kind of happened at the worst possible time for them when playoffs hit. But do we think that they can reignite some of that magic, like that old man trick once playoffs hit? Do they need to get? Are they a team that just needs to get there, and then maybe they're able to do something once they hit the playoffs, or even as currently constructed, they're just out of that picture right now?
That's a great point. Like they could very much be a team that like just get us in, and if it breaks right, we can absolutely steal this thing. That's that Curry magic, you know.
Right.
I still think the trade was a good idea because they gave up like nothing to get.
Yeah, for them it was nothing.
Yeah, for them it was nothing. I do think Jimmy's overpaid.
Maybe the extension
I get
is
Miami
more of an
being like, guy, like we're not gonna pay you almost $60 million. You get 25 and 5, right? There's
not 25, no, 20. 20.
Yeah, 20. 25 and 5.
Oh,
right?
25 and 5.
Yeah. So it's like that's a good line, and you're a winning player.
But 100%.
That's a line that we can find amongst the top 60 NBA players. We don't have to pay you like you're the third best player in the league, right?
Yeah, maybe the extension was more of an issue than the trade itself.
I think so, because Golden State ponied up, and I wouldn't want to be their owner right now, paying Steph, the highest paid player in the NBA, Jimmy, who's like the third or fourth highest paid player in the NBA.
And you're still paying Draymond a lot.
You're still paying Draymond a lot of money. So, yeah. And you just gave Kuminga a big extension.
Yeah. Hopefully you try to move him. Like the idea is to move him. So, but you move him in for what? Like at this point, it's like, okay, you're moving him to.
You've got all the old guys in the league. Who else is old?
Like, what are you gonna do with Kuminga at this point?
Trade Kuminga for Brooks Lopez? Yeah,
drafting Kuminga, drafting Moody. Like some of these, Moody was a decent pick, but Przinski. Yeah. Like these, it's just I don't know. They've made some errors along the way, and it's starting to bite them. I think in a way that can severely hurt them. But maybe they have one little run in them. But right now it's hard for me to see. I think they're a team that really needs to do some reevaluating come trade deadline and either make a move to win or make a move to kind of reset themselves again. Doesn't mean blow it up. Just a way to get themselves in the picture for the offseason to get back to being a owning team.
Yeah, like if they were playing well, when you brought up like, oh, what teams could win the NBA Cup, right? Like they, single game series, you don't want to bet against Steph Curry.
Yeah.
You don't want to bet against the championship pedigree of Golden State. But the way they're playing right now, Steph Curry on the shelf, they're not a contender for the cup.
Yeah.
Like at all.
Yeah, I think they're eliminated from contention already. So,
see, there we go.
They're close to no, not at all. But we'll see how they move on. Maybe they should have traded for one of these guys, or maybe not traded. Maybe they should have drafted one of these guys when they had the chance. Looking at the point guards that could be on the move, Lamelo, who they could have taken over James Wiseman. I know Wiseman wasn't enticing. They want to solidify that front court with James Wiseman at the time. I understood their thinking, but bigs drafting them high doesn't tend to pan out a lot of the time. And LaMelo,
especially when the big played 2 games in his college season, 3 games.
Yeah, he didn't play much at all. Like he had limited tape on him.
He was being drafted entirely off measurables, which I don't know if that's ever really worked out for a team.
No, it definitely didn't work out for the Warriors because that is I would say that's a franchise altering move because we're talking a little bit before about like some of like these like these point guards, Ja, LaMelo, and Trae, just like building some bad habits, whether it be there's the situation that they were in from to start. Like LaMelo was given the keys early on, Trae was given the keys early on with absolutely zero expectations and the free will to do whatever they wanted. And from that, you might have built bad habits. If LaMelo was drafted straight to the Warriors, and he was under Draymond, and he was under Steph, and he was under Clay. Clay, I think Clay was still there at the time. I think things turned out a little differently for him as well. But of those guys,
can you imagine like LaMelo in the Golden State system? Like how different would he be? First of all, he'd be a shooting guard. Secondly, yeah, he would have been like under Draymond Green, Steve Kerr, the Steph Curry like aura, right? Like I'm imagining like LaMelo Ball, no grill, quarter zip, right? Like a side part, like looking like a finance bro, just Mr. Prim and Proper, with just like the ultimate winning habits. But instead he went to Charlotte and they're like, hey man, like
we have nothing going on.
Play
do some
stuff?
YouTube
basketball, right?
Yeah,
like
get
us some highlights, right?
Yeah.
Do whatever you want and sell some jerseys. But I don't know. I hope he goes and plays with Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, that would be quite the pair up. Any of these guys would be, I think, if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves, I think at this point you kind of got to take a chance on your point guard position is in a dire state. You're a team that got to the conference finals 2 years in a row, haven't been able to. I feel like it feels as if they've kind of reached their limit with this kind of core there. So I think a shakeup is needed. Anthony Edwards, he's getting better every year as the years go on, but I think we're starting to see where he kind of taps out at in comparison to the other top players in the league. I think he's around where he's going to get a little bit more better, but I don't think he's taking another huge step from where he is now. Still like a top 15 player, which is really good. But he needs some more help when it comes to the offensive end. Julius Randle's had a terrific season as well.
Great,
a little understated really what he's been doing this year, but that point guard would just add so much versatility to an offense that just feels kind of predictable at times. And I think the one thing that you can say about all three of these guys is they'll bring that versatility. Even with Josh shooting woes, he is able to get to the basket almost at will when he is focused on doing that, when that's something he wants to do. That pick and roll game with a guy like Gobert, who sets solid screens, similar to a guy like Steven Adams, who he played with before, it just opens things up a lot for Ja. So that could be an interesting matchup there too.
It's always funny. Whenever stars are available, they're always tied to the Heat. And I think of these 3-point guards, right? And a lot of people will be like, oh, Heat culture would fix Ja, right? Well, Ja played under the assistant coach who helped Spo revamp this roster.
With no,
I don't think he can play this style, right?
with no pick and rolls.
Yeah. LaMelo to me is too much of a wild card. I don't think he makes a lot of sense in Miami.
Either. No, but and Spo will go mad with Trae as on defense. He won't.
Yeah, Spo would go mad with Trae on defense, but imagine this offense.
Oh, with
Trae.
Right? But the thing with Trae too,
loves outlet passes. He loves
moving the ball, but he always has that one pick and roll partner that he really relies on to get a lot of his creation. Is like the thing with him is you don't know. Yeah. You don't know if he's doing a floater, if he's throwing a lob. Like he's one of the best at like masking those things and making these passes out of the pick and roll. And I think without having that element to him, I don't know. Like taking the ball out of his hands is something that like Trae had needed to do, and we're seeing like how Atlanta's playing right now without Trae. They've looked pretty good. They look like a good solid team. Jalen Johnson has taken another step, if that's possible, to be a better player, just a complete player on both ends of the court. So it's like it's opening up these things for these other guys, and in a free-flowing offense that the Heat are playing, yes, it would be great because Trae can just break down the guy quickly, get to the basket himself, and be able to dish out to these guys, and everything will be spread out. But he also does like to pound the ball, slow it down, be the last one with the ball, and he be the one to make the decision, like a James Harden type of way, which is, it works as well. Like both styles can win you basketball games. I just find that coupled with his defense, I don't know if that's something that Spo would just be like so sign on to do in this point. Like you need an off season to kind of like properly like blend what you want to do with Trae. And I don't know if the Heat would do that at this point. If he becomes available in the offseason, maybe. But I'm not even looking at the guard. If I'm the Heat, I'm not looking at guards right now for the first time in a while. Like you have Davion, who's I think 4th in total assists on the year. Like he's just below a couple guys, and he's leading the league in assist to turnover ratio. So point guard, and he's guarding he's guarding the point guard, no problem. Like that is what he does.
Yeah.
His off-ball defense was always a question. This year's off-ball defense has been better. It seems like that was one of the focuses that Spo challenged Davion to improve on over the offseason was his off-ball defense. So that's come together in a nice way this year. Then you have Hero coming back. You have Norm there. Drew Smith, I know, is bottom of the barrel player, but his role of just playing defense for like 10 minutes a game and just being a decent playmaker and hitting open shots. He can't do anything. He's not creating nothing, but like just doing that simple role. I think it's just like a placeholder for their draft pick in KJ while he comes back from injury. He's in the G League right now. He's getting acclimated to NBA speed again. I think he's just kind of a placeholder for until KJ's ready to really take that step and be in the rotation. So the guard rotation for the Heat in the first time in a while, I'm kind of okay with. I think they need to work more in their front court. Kel's been great, Bam's been great, but behind that, you don't really have much. Jovic is he's not really a big.
Buddy.
Wiggins can do the 4 and the 3, but like if when Bam went down, like I mentioned earlier, how they dropped in defense, and it wasn't because Kel was like doing so terribly or anything. Like he's not Bam, of course, but there's also the fact that when Kel came out, he didn't have a defensive anchor anymore. He had no one to really to stop the bleeding from that end of the court. So if I'm the Heat, my priority is like there's rumors that a lot of these centers might be on the move. That's where I'll be looking at, just grabbing one of these guys to just play backup center in case Bam or Kel got hurt, or just to give them breathers throughout the game.
So who are these centers who are rumored to be moving?
Gafford was one. There's always like that AD smoke, but I don't know how much that was. There was Nick Richards as well, who's not doing much right now. But it's like these type of that tier of player where it's like it doesn't hurt you too much to go and get them. And they'll be okay coming off the bench, and they're not looking to start. Gafford, he's used to splitting time all the time. I think that if I'm the Heat, that's my target. A guy like Gafford.
Is that enough?
To put you over the
should
top?
Your target be AD?
If AD wasn't so injury prone, my target would 100% be AD. Like that's who I'd be throwing in the chips for. AD Bam front court worked well for Team USA. I think it would do. I think it would do just fine with the Heat too. And you can slowly develop where to be the starter when AD eventually phases out. AD would be my 100% number one pick if I'm looking to win the NBA championship this year, and I have faith in AD staying healthy throughout that. I don't know what he costs you now. I don't know what his trade value has, what it is. With their change of management, I don't know how the new guys. I think Mark Cuban's taking over basketball operations again, or is going to have a say in that again. So I don't know how he views AD from that lens. But depending on what it costs, AD would probably be your number one target if you're the Heat. If you can kind of guarantee me that he's gonna maybe not play out the whole season, but at least be there for the playoffs.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, it comes all the way back to us talking about like, can you do it without top 10, top 15 player, right? Can you win the championship? So
Claxton was another one. Sorry.
Yeah. Just whenever you're like looking to make a move, that's like a core piece, it should always be, can we get who is the very best player we can get, right? We're not looking for a role player to be our 8th man, right? Who's got like, oh, this guy plays a little harder defense, or this guy's got a little bit more shooting, right? That's what you're doing around the edges. But if you're looking to change a core player, you should always be looking at like, who's the very best player we can get, right? And then, are they a superstar, and what will it cost us? And if you can't get a superstar, you move to the next level. You do what Toronto did, right? You get a Brandon Ingram. You get a distressed asset that can help your team. But like, to me, the Raptors are not a championship team. They feel a lot more like the team, the DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry teams of just before
they won the championship. Yeah,
before the championship, where they were winning 50 games, and they were a good team, but they weren't a championship team, right? And so, like, when I'm team building, I'm always kind of like trying to figure out, like, where is the superstar going to come from, right? Miami's in a luxurious position where they're a team that superstars want to play for. They're a team that can sign one in free agency. They're a team that, players will say, I want to go and play for that team. Toronto's not got that luxury. That's why, like, I have dreams of Dylan Harper, somehow ending up in Toronto.
Well, okay, we're talking about these three.
Develops, right?
We're talking about these three guards here. Would any of these guards make sense on the Raptors? Like, are you a Ja away? Are you a Trae away? Are you a Lamelo away? Do you bring that? Do you bring Lamelo into the fold?
So, to me, you need defense and spacing on the Raptors. I don't know if Ja or Trae give you enough defense. Lamelo doesn't give you defense, but his measurables are very good, right?
He's one 6'7". Where you could, I think of those three guys, he's the guy that's like, maybe if he's just in a different system, he might be okay. Yeah, he might be okay. His IQ is gonna be, you don't know, like his IQ, but if things click, maybe he's fine on the defensive end.
Yeah, so it's. I was thinking about it earlier, like who could really help the Raptors, and hilariously enough, it's like Desmond Bane. It's not one of those. And we were both on here last year being like, oh man, if only our teams could find a point guard.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if only they could find a point guard. And now it's like, well, they need a backcourt player, but it's got to be the right one.
It's got to be the right one. It's got to make sense now. They've established styles now that it matters. It kind of matters.
So I think the problem with Ja, Trae, and LaMelo is they're all very flawed stars. And a lot of it comes down to, like, their defensive intensity and their 3-point efficiency. Because even like Trae, who's known as like a 3-point shooter, it's not always like super efficient about it.
No, he's not an efficient 3-point shooter.
He just happens to hit some like really big ones.
Yeah, he hits big ones. He takes a lot, so he's gonna hit them.
LaMelo takes a lot. Ja doesn't take a lot, but he's got to be that like super special long-term athlete to pull that off, and that worries me about Ja.
Now, if you're
plus the like his off-court stuff worries me the most about Ja. So
yeah. If you're the Pelicans,
if I'm the Pelicans, I don't have my picks. So yeah, maybe I do something this year.
Derek Queen's look pretty good.
Yeah, Derek Queen's look good. Jeremiah Fears has looked pretty good. So
Trae's look good too.
Yeah. Who's gonna get Zion going? Right? Who would match best with Zion?
LaMelo. I think out of these three guys,
LaMelo's the most creative.
Yeah, he's the most desired. I think out of these three guys, if LaMelo truly does become available, I think he's gonna go for the most. I think he's number one on the list for a lot of these teams if he's available, if he truly becomes an available player. He denied reports that he wanted to trade. Smoke doesn't happen all the time. Yeah.
You have to deny that report.
Yeah. So smoke came from somewhere. I don't think that just came out of thin air, because you heard nothing about LaMelo wanting nothing for his entire career until that point. So
I'm pretty sure Ja said like Memphis is home.
Yeah. Like, they're gonna say these things. Trae wants to sign an extension with the Hawks, but he hasn't. So I don't know. Like, these three guys seems like it seems like it's at an impasse. I feel like the Pelicans, they did draft Jeremiah Fears, who's looked terrific as well. But he can always slide over to the 2. He'll be an undersized 2, but he's a guy that can he could slide over to the 2 and do some things. They still have DeJounte Murray coming back, I guess, whenever he comes back from his injury. But yeah, I think they might be a team that could look into getting one of these guys. We mentioned Houston, but I don't know if they have enough anymore. I don't think those guys would fit what Ime wants to do necessarily. Does the Magic need to get one of these guys to open up their offense a little bit, or do they need to keep what they have because Suggs is like such an integral, like the heart. He's like the heart of this team. Even if he's not the best player for the team, he is the heart and soul, it feels like, of this Magic team.
Because I was considering the Magic, but like I like Suggs too much, and I like his point of attack defense. To me, like I'd love to see LaMelo on the Timberwolves. I think Trae to the Suns would be fun.
I was about to say, yeah, Suns. Yep.
Right. And Ja, I could see a team like Boston being like, here's a write-off. We're probably a little too good to get a superstar pick, but we could probably get Ja Morant for super cheap.
Yeah, and then if you bring him back.
Once Tatum comes back, you've got Brown, Tatum, and Ja Morant. Like that could be like those two provide spacing. Like,
yeah, you can drive all you want.
Yeah,
drive all you want.
Drive, cut.
Yeah, do anything you want.
People, like, do whatever you want to do. Right? You're gonna be backed up by Jason Tatum's efficiently boring game.
and Joe Mazzulla as a coach, like I don't think we give him enough credit. Like he has his team humming right now. Like they started off poor, but they went 10-5 in their last 15 games. Like they have been good. Like they've been a solid team. They're missing their best player, but they're still being competitive in all these games. They gave Detroit their first loss the other night. So they've been a solid team as well. And yeah, I could. If there's a year to do it for them, they could just do it. Like, why not? Like, what's the risk for them? Really, they have no risk. Really, bringing in a guy like Ja Morant this year, they doesn't pan out. Oh well, you could move him to the next team. Maybe not for as much as you got him for, but you could still. Another team will take a Ja Morant. I think Joe Mazzulla, like, as I was saying, is just matches that crazy. He's a crazy guy. You watch any of his interviews, and he just says crazy things all the time. So I think him being the head of that team, I was very critical of when they brought him in to replace Ime. I thought Ime was really that guy, but Joe's done a tremendous job, won them a championship, and he hasn't slowed down ever since. So I could 100% see them being able to handle a guy like Ja. I don't think it'll be an issue for them. I think Ja, once he's on a different environment, is going to start to buy in a little bit more because, when Memphis was winning and when Memphis was good and they're making noise in the playoffs, these things weren't as much of a concern at all. Like he was bought in, he would try he won games on defense certain times. Yeah. He wasn't the best defensive player off ball, but on ball, he would fight really hard and he would at least put in good effort. That's just lacked right now. So if he's in a winning environment again, maybe those things start to come together, and maybe the athleticism didn't slip. It was just more of an effort thing. It's hard to tell right now because you just see him in another role.
Yeah. It's they're three interesting players. Three players that this time last year I would have had a lot more interest in, and I think the league would have had a lot more interest in. Yeah. The point guard position is kind of oddly filled out in the last 12 months.
And it's kind of changed from this kind of architect of one guy dominate the ball. It's not that anymore. It's just you got to be able to move it more so now.
Move it and be that first defender for teams, right? So we were getting away from positionless basketball or going towards positionless basketball for a long time where the biggest thing was those the joke is Toronto's vision 6'9", right? Mm-hmm. Where everybody's got to be 6'9" and play all five positions. In theory, it's interesting, but in reality, teams need a point guard to do point guard things, and they need a center to do center things. And those three positions in between, power forward to shooting guard, those ones are a little bit more malleable. Yeah. Although I think the like true shooting guard is like really hard to find these days. The one that can like defend, space, and like score efficiently. Like like that player is like very hard to find.
It's not around no more.
Yeah, that's why like Anthony Edwards is so special. Even like Booker's been shifted to play point guard. Right? Mm-hmm. Like Booker in my mind is a shooting guard. Tyler Hero in my mind is a shooting guard, right? And there's not a lot in that mold. Especially a lot that don't have weaknesses. Like you could suggest that Booker and Hero are both a little weak defensively. Where Anthony Edwards is a lot stronger. Or at least maybe we just think of him as a lot stronger.
No, he is. He's been a better defender. Hero last year got picked on by like Ty Jerome. Like Hero on defenses can be rough at times. So 100%, like the defensive aspect of being a shooting guard, like that's what made like Kobe, Wade like so like special. Like those guys defended. Those guys were all defensive guys. I guess Shea is kind of like a 2-guard playing the point guard position. But same thing, he's playing defense. He's doing both sides of the court. So it's Anthony Edwards that you bring up. He's doing both sides of the court. It's just hard. It's hard to find. It's really hard to find. Harden was a shooting guard, but he's more of a point guard. That is a lost art. that position is definitely a lost art.
Yes.
Anything else before we head out of this one?
Just that, you know, like you mentioned, we'll probably talk about it maybe in like the next episode or two, but like we've got a 4-man MVP race.
It's amazing.
I think the league overall has the most talent that it's ever had, top to bottom, right? Of guys who are actually on NBA rosters, right? Is Jokic or Shea, Luka, or Giannis the greatest player of all time? No, they're not in that conversation. Not yet, at least. Like it's between Michael,
guys.
Michael, LeBron, and probably Kareem. But like it used to be a thing, and we were talking about this like not long ago when they were trading like 5 second-round picks to make a deal go through. It used to be a thing where like second-round picks were tossable. Like you don't get a guy who plays for you generally beyond pick 20. Now pick 50 is important because you're going to find a guy who plays, who's in your rotation.
He can play.
Yeah, especially at a time when like the cap's in a weird place with the dual apron thing, right? Where you got to pay your like superstars, but like anyone in that like next class, they're either being paid too much or like not enough.
Yeah, you're really trying to find that bargain from that seat. The second round
bargains are second round picks who can play, right? And like I think if you look at any team in the league right now, they've got a second round pick or two on their roster, if not an undrafted player or two, and they are valuable, essential members of that roster. Like Denver's got a guy named Nikola Jokic. Right? Picked in the second round. When was Norm Powell picked? He was a second rounder, wasn't he?
I think he was a second rounder. He'd have been playing Pele Larson a lot. He's like probably one of the better.
He's a second rounder. Yeah. Raptors Jamal Shed, second rounder. One of the most efficient players in basketball.
It matters. Like these picks do, like it truly. A lot of teams have become a lot better, a lot smarter when it comes to drafting. I think it's for this reason the new CBA has forced teams to value that in a way that they didn't have to before, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. All helps to bring the talent level up of the NBA.
I think we're ready for expansion. We've got enough talent.
Yeah, I think they could do it. I think they can do it. We can get Vegas and Seattle whenever we're ready.
Vegas and Seattle. Let's go, baby. Well, LeBron's got to retire so he can.
Oh
have
yeah,
rings, right?
yeah.
Like,
I mean,
they're just gonna give it to him.
The way that he's been jumping recently, I think it might be that day's coming. that day is, oh man, it hurt my soul. Reese threw him up a lob, and it was just like, oh, you can't do that anymore. Oh,
you're just gonna tip it in.
he missed it completely, and I was like, wow, that is, wow. I would have been okay with the tip in.
Yeah,
fine.
Yeah. Now he's waiting for like it to come off the backboard, and he'll like one hand push it.
I was like, wow, this is crazy. But he is 40, so it does make some type of sense. That will do it for this episode of the NBA Hangout presented by Playbook Sports. You can follow us on Twitter at the NBA Hangout. You can follow us Instagram, we're there too. Follow me at BJAY93_. You can follow Dave here all the time. Thank you for hanging out with us. Peace.